So issue 2 of 8 of Original Sin by Jason Aaron and artist Mike Deodato picks up where the first one left off. Now we have Emma Frost, Black Panther and Ant-Man discover a graveyard full of dead bodies, dead creatures, under the Earth's surface, which have been there for what could be hundreds of years, and they appear to have been murdered with the same weapon that killed the Watcher. So whoever killed the Watcher, it looks like they were practicing for quite a while on all these different creatures. We then see Nick Fury having a fight with a mindless one in the back of his flying car, which gives rise to, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's a throwaway bit of dialogue, but my favourite moment in the comic and sort of a highlight of what Jason Aaron, the writer, does really well. But there's a moment here where Nick Fury traps the mindless one in his car, ejects, and flies alongside it, as you can see here, and he's going to shoot the car and blow it up to defeat the mindless one. And he says to the car, "It's all right, Betty. Hope you know you were always my favourite. Just close your eyes, old girl." That, for me, is worth the price of admission alone for this issue. I did really enjoy it from cover to cover. So you have Nick Fury do battle with a mindless one. You have Bruce Banner and Tony Stark looking into sort of what's going on. And also, and this is what I mentioned in my last video, there's bits with Doctor Strange and the Punisher going in sort of another dimension to look for more bodies and follow up more leads. The artwork and the panelling does change quite significantly, and it does keep the book and the series fresh. As you can see there, they find a bullet inside a dead giant monster. So I like the fact that the artwork changes in those moments, because like I say, it does feel like it keeps it fresh. We're then introduced to what appears to be the villains of the piece, and it's a minor spoiler if you've not read this issue already, but Exterminatrix and the Orb have one of the Watcher's eyes, although it's not clear whether or not they're the ones who killed the Watcher. In fact, it appears that they've acquisitioned his eye through other means. So they're surrounded by the Avengers and other Marvel heroes, and it all sort of kicks off, as you can see there, and leads to a big action scene. Now, I do think that the arc by Mike Deodato does suit. He does do action quite well, as you can see there. It's quite sort of frenetic and cinematic, but it's all sort of clear, and you can tell, you know, what everybody's doing and at any given time, and you do sort of understand where they are in relation to each other, as you can see here, which is sort of no mean feat when you have a look at how many characters he's drawing. So basically the issue ends with the Orb holding up the Watcher's eye and basically saying the eye itself, as you can see, the Orb has an eye for a head, which is very weird. The eye itself, rather, is a bomb full of secrets that could go off at any moment. So this issue, it is quite fast-paced, and it does sort of rattle along, and it does end in a much different place to when it started, and I quite liked that, because I do feel sometimes with comic book events they can drag a little bit. So this issue did get where it needed to go. It did establish a couple of new subplots and new characters, and it did it quite well. So issue 2, and like I say, it's 2 of 8, or 9 if you count issue 0, of Original Sin was a good read, and I would recommend it. If you're currently reading it, it's still ongoing at the moment, but I believe you still can catch up. So here's issue 2.